SWEGTA! At one point in Bully's development, Rockstar Games had plans on including a graffiti cleanup minigame. Much like snow shoveling and lawn mowing, graffiti cleanup was meant to be a detention minigame. Now, interestingly enough, several voice lines, mission marker coordinates, animations, and even subtitles for this still exist in the game files. To get an idea of how this minigame would have played out, let's quickly summarize what detention is like in Bully. After getting busted too many times, Jimmy is sent to the principal's office to get rebuked by Dr. Crabblesnitch. He is then sent to go see the punishment prefect, that'd be Seth. Depending on the season, Jimmy will either be sent to mow the lawns on campus or shovel snow. So it is possible that the graffiti cleanup minigame would have been available at all times, unlike snow shoveling and lawn mowing. And just like lawn mowing and snow shoveling, there are different locations and amount of things Jimmy has to get done before detention ends. The first stage of graffiti cleanup took place on school grounds between the parking lot and the girls' dorm. While it remains unknown how many tags Jimmy had to clean up on school grounds, we do have some leftover subtitles and objectives that show us that Jimmy had to clean up 7 tags in Bulworth Town and 10 tags in New Coventry. Recently, the Bully modder and beta researcher Deadpool XYZ uploaded a video showcasing all of the unused mission markers in Bully. This, interestingly enough, includes all of the graffiti cleanup locations. So here we can get a better idea of where Jimmy was expected to clean up the graffiti tags. Not only that, but there still exist a couple unused animations which were meant to be used by Jimmy when cleaning up the tags. The first animation is a simple cleaning animation. Jimmy was initially intended to have a brush in his hand that he would use to remove or possibly cover up the tags with. The brush no longer exists in the game files, so I decided to put a retextured itching powder in his hand instead. The second animation is one that would have been played when Jimmy got done removing the tag. He would have tossed the brush away, at which point he would have been told to either remove another tag or that he was simply finished. Oddly enough, the only characters with any leftover voice lines from this minigame are Jimmy and Seth, the punishment prefect. These voice lines actually match some of the leftover subtitles in the game files.
Here's your brush. Get to work, you peon!
You'll be up against the wall when the revolution comes.
You better run along and make yourself useful.
You mean unlike you pompous jerk?
Time to clean up the city.
I'd like to clean up your face, you smug bastard.
Something worth noting here is that an unknown character, simply referred to as Dude, was apparently meant to get offended by Jimmy cleaning up the graffiti tags. It is possible that this is simply a placeholder subtitle, and that Rockstar Games had intended on making clique members around town hostile towards Jimmy when he cleaned up their tags. Again, no other voice lines from this feature still exist in the game files, so this is all pure speculation. Like I said in the beginning of this video, there still exists quite a bit of unused subtitles and objectives that were meant to appear during this minigame. So, let's quickly go through all of them. Well, James, screwed up again. Looks like local miscreants have messed up the school wall. You need to clean the graffiti up and be prompt about it. Seems the business district needs some cleaning up. The poor district is no better off, there is tons of graffiti about. Now this one would have probably been used when Jimmy failed the minigame. This would have most likely been used during the very first graffiti cleanup detention. This is basically Seth explaining the objective to the player and pointing out that there's a time limit. This one would have most likely been used during the second most difficult graffiti cleanup mission. And this line would have been used when Jimmy had to clean up a total of 10 tags in New Coventry. Pretty self-explanatory. 1 tag down, X amount left to go. Probably a piece of text that would have showed up the first time Jimmy had to clean up a tag. The player would have had to walk up to the tag and then press a button to initiate the cleanup process. After pressing the button, the player would have had to rotate the left joystick repeatedly until the tag had disappeared. This was probably meant to appear as an objective on the screen as soon as the intro cutscene had been finished playing. This appears to be a simple counter to keep track on how many tags Jimmy had cleaned up out of how many he was expected to clean. Now, interestingly enough, it doesn't specify how many tags Jimmy had to clean, it just says all the tags. This is why I think that Bulworth Town, or downtown as it's called here, was meant to be the second most difficult area to clean up. Likewise, we can see that Jimmy was expected to clean a total of 10 tags in New Coventry. This would have appeared as a warning on the screen if Jimmy had begun to wander off from the area he was meant to clean. This would have appeared on the screen to tell the player how many more tags Jimmy had to remove. Now this one is also pretty self-explanatory. If you somehow failed the minigame, then this would have appeared on the screen. And finally, we have the typical, okay, you're done serving your detention text that would have appeared on the screen as well. That's everything I know about the unused graffiti cleanup minigame in Bully. While Rockstar did end up removing some of the assets that were meant to be used for this minigame, they did thankfully leave us with a lot of beta leftovers. If you want to learn more about Bully's removed beta features, then make sure to check out my Bully beta video playlist. A link to that can be found down below in the video info. And of course, subscribe for more if you so desire. Anyway, that's it for this video. You folks, as always, stay classy. Peace.